This is AC Starler, aka Austin. Welcome back to my channel, and this is Solo Mio. It's take place in Rome. It has Kevin James in it, a legendary Kevin James from King and Queens, his own stand-up stuff, Grown-Ups and Grown-Ups 2, um, Pixels with the Adam Sandler um, gang. This is a complete different separate film. It's a clean comedy romantic film where he falls in love with he falls in love with his name. He plays Matt. He plays a character named Matt. He falls in love with a woman in his hometown, not his hometown, but where they live. So basically, his hometown and their hometown. Because the rest of the movie takes place in Rome, and they spend Christmas together, different Christmas together, daily livelihood stuff. Ask her to marry her, while Ed Sheeran's song was playing in the background. Where yeah, I think "Perfect" is playing in the background. If you post her, and then when it's time to go to the wedding in Rome, she just needed some time, some space, and she got scared and left him at the altar. And then he's taking a honeymoon on his own, pretty much. So pretty much solo mio mean solo by himself, solo me, if you get it. And you have, yes, I was a comedy like this, you're expecting to have his buddies Adam Sandler or Kevin or David Spade or Rob Schneider or Chris Rock, somewhere in there to help Kevin James um fill out his comedy. And they were not there. I'll talk more about that later and how it worked without them. But normally they feed off each other, and they feed off each other and they feed off of him. But this isn't the first time that Kevin James has done this by himself. Like did he does his own comedy specials. He does King of Queens, and he's a standalone tell jokes on his own type of person, right? So you have a familiar face of the lady with the red hair from other movies and some of that from seeing her, but like you have other people help fill in those shoes. But you also have the guy who plays Jesus. I think his name is Jonathan Diesel or something like that. Jesus playing a physical therapist, but for the New York Mavericks, helping him out. And then another guy, I don't know his name, but he has like earrings on, and they help him fill out the shoes of bouncing off um, comedy off of Kevin James. And it was very, very cool to see the guy who plays Jesus from Chosen in here with Kevin James, because it is an Angel Studios film. But at one point, you do hear his Jesus voice come out in the movie, and it was kind of funny. But the rest of the scenarios in here are very funny of what Kevin James puts in there. But also, it's also a drama. It's also a little bit of a romantic drama comedy too. At the same time, he's dealing with losing someone that was going to the altar. It's not like losing a boyfriend or a girlfriend where, hey, things are not working out and they barely make it to the altar. They made it to the altar, and now he's dealing with, I have to figure this all out on my own. And he books this honeymoon trip around Rome, and also seeing a concert with Ed Sheeran at the very end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, or hinted, but it's at towards the end of the movie. But he's doing all these things by himself. But there's like one scene where they actually show adult themes in here, like go to, when you're with your significant other and you're on your honeymoon, who tend to have some drinks or two, and he gets drunk and he meets this other girl, but this other girl says it's my birthday all the time when she meets people. And at one point, me and my friend, and I'll get to that, me and my friend, best friend, that's like a sister name, thought that we thought that he was we thought and everyone else in the audience thought that he brought Kevin James, aka Matt, brought this woman home, but it, it seemed like it was, but it wasn't. It's him in a dark hallway in his hotel room trying to take off his suit jacket, and it's just him beating him against the walls trying to take it off because he was wasted. And then he, has drunk people, people are devastated and they're drunk, call their significant other. They send them a whole bunch of text messages and they block you. And then and then he also from there, after that, he meets a girl at a lovely lady at a coffee shop, and he goes there every morning while he's there on vacation or honeymoon, and then he gets to meet this young lady, and this young lady learns about him, and he learns about her, and they develop a friend. They develop more than just a friendship, and it leads on from there. Well, also with the help of other married people, like the guy who plays Jesus, married to his therapist, but he's also a physical therapist, and some other universities, Jesus. So, and then you have the guy with the two earrings, married 3 times to the same woman, got divorced and married 3 times, and went on honeymoons. And there's a joke played off later on in this review that I'm about to say of the same guy, and they help him along the way and try and forget um, the woman that left him on the altar as they're trying to help him move forward with the coffee shop lady. And the coffee shop lady has her own things to deal with, like a, I guess, a nice boyfriend slash business owner that owns her coffee shop building. And then um, her being related to like some famous piano player that Kevin James' character knows, and all this stuff. She's dealing with her own life and stuff, and so is Kevin James. And then they get together, and Kevin James eventually tells her that he was going to get married, but also later on in the film, you find out that the coffee shop lady met up. I mean, coffee shop lady knows his wife that was wrote him the letter in the very beginning of this movie saying that she can't do it, get married. She just needs some space, and then it goes from there. From the very beginning was I need some space to helping him out. These other guys helping him out, and then even the other couples, their husband, their wives also helping him out with this new relationship, and the relationship develops. It's a very interesting romantic comedy, and the comedy in here is very clean and very wholesome. It matches the wholesomeness of this film, and it also matches the romanticness in this film. Um, Now my friend, that's like my best friend and a sister, I mean, doesn't go to a lot of movies. You have to, and entice her, it has to be a Christian film. It can be it can be a regular film like the ones I talk about, like Tron or Ghostface. I mean, Tron or Scream, aka Ghostface. We talked a little bit about those as well after the movie. Um, and other movies like that, but those are secular movies or are Hollywood based, and Hollywood does kind of have different agendas. And also, yes, they're owned by the companies, and the Hollywood is also owned by Jews, so it's a little bit different. I won't go into too much of that, but it's a little bit different how movies like the like movies like this, like Christian movie like this, stays in theaters. It only has a 3 to 4. It only has a three, either 2 to 3 or 4 week window to be in theaters. And then you give like, for example, like Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze. Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze is coming out from February 13th to the 19th. It only has that 1 week, right? But last year they did the first Ninja Turtles movie from the 80s. I mean, last year they did the first Ninja Turtle movie from the 80s, and it only had that 1 week window, but it was also, and it's not independent, but it had that 1 week window, and it was from Phantom Events. And then what happened was a lot of people saw that movie and it extended out for another 2 or 3 weeks. That's probably what's going to happen with Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze. Extend it out for the next 2 weeks because those movies are popular, right? It's a secular movie. It was also not a lot of people not a lot of people saw that in the theaters, right? And it was in theaters, but back when I was a kid and some of that, I wasn't there to see it in theaters, so that gave it more window. Um, Another primary example is like as long as like let's say Scream 7's coming out pretty soon, since it is February, that's going to have a longer window than this, and so on and so forth. There's been other movies like Angel Studios that have been out in theaters, but they only have that small window. So it's good to see these movies come out. Now, this is a very good wholesome film, and it's a good Christian-based film. I wouldn't surprised that no one would want to go see this, but especially if you have a heavy hitter named Kevin James in here that does King of Queens. Did King of Queens, that was also a big hit TV show. Grown Ups 1 and 2 that everyone loves to watch and have fun with. And he's hilarious in this, and he's also hilarious in this movie. His stand-up that's also very clean. And then he recently did a movie called Playdate, which I'll do a small little review in here. It's basically a really cheesy movie where he gets himself in the wild ride with someone else that takes a kid. He's watching over a facility. The guy who plays Reacher is watching over a facility, takes a kid. It's not really his kid, but it's a clone of him. And then it's actually his son, and then he has to spend quality time with his son. That was a cheesy Amazon movie, but this was not a cheesy Amazon movie. He was good in there too. His comedy of Kevin James was on point in there too. But sometimes Kevin James plays the same kind of character almost, and that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But this character sometimes he plays a character, not like not when he was playing Doug or playing the other character that he was in Grown Ups, but recent characters he's played, his characters play hopeful. He plays hopeful, confident, but also some in some details. Um, he plays hopeful and confident characters, but sometimes when things don't go the right way or things go kind of south, the character is like less confident, and that's where his wheelhouse is, and that's where his comedy goes into those characters. Same thing with, Playdate, and same thing with this character, Matt, in here. It all blends in, but he's very funny in this movie. It's very clean stuff, even bouncing off jokes off of um, the guy who plays Jesus and the other guy that's also accommodating with Jesus. But also, the guy who plays Jesus and the other guy who has 2 earrings play off each other as well in this movie as well, with their significant others and other people around them. They were a very supportive cast. And watching a little bit of The Chosen from at my friend's house, seeing Jesus be the guy who plays Jesus being in a different role than just Jesus. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to see that he can play Jesus, but he can also play a normal regular guy that is helping out this other regular guy trying to find love. And basically, towards the end, of this, they all found he finds love. He gets married. Matt Eventually finds love, they go to the concert and they get married. And it was a fun film. It was a fun Christian film. Um, I highly recommend seeing this movie, especially since it is out. I mean, I saw this last night, so it was on the 5th, but it's out today on the 6th. But it's a good Valentine's Day movie as well. It's a good romantic movie. It starts with him without, it starts with him having someone, and then it ends up being when he gets to Rome not having someone, then he ends up having someone. So it balances, but you're gonna have a good time if you saw this on Valentine's Day, even on, well, today, or if you have the chance to see it on Valentine's Day, because I know a lot of people probably not going to see it on Super Bowl weekend, and it's on Super Bowl weekend. But if you don't see it Super Bowl weekend, go see it on Valentine's Day weekend. It's a good Valentine's Day movie for if you're married, you have a wife, a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend. Go see this. It'll change the way you see comedy movies. It changes the way you see romantic movies because in romantic comedies or even just movies that are not in the same genre, like even romantic movies and comedies, they do have they do have something in there. They're always showing they do have something, other elements in there, like in romantic movies, for example. If they do have a girl in there, they're showing the girl off as not as beautiful and graceful and a helping partner to the counterpart, which is the male. They're showing them as they can be sexy and hot and hot and always get the man, right? And the man falls for that in a romantic movie. Same thing with a comedy. Same thing in a comedy when they have a love element in there. They show a hot girl trying to get a guy, and then the guy falls for it, and then you know, go back and forth, and they see a love scene, blah blah. This had no love scenes in it. I mean, it had some kissing, some hugging, but no love scenes in it. No go straight to bed. Like I said, I mentioned in the beginning of this review, and but they show the beauty of a woman and how a man cherishes that beauty of the woman instead of lusting over the woman, instead of let's get into bed automatically. It shows a beautiful relationship between two people, but the coffee shop lady, they just showed her beautiful with grace and showed her being beautiful, amazing, and with grace. Same thing with Kevin James. Her same thing with Kevin James, her bouncing off of him, showing that the man can be beautiful, amazing, gentle, kind, and wonderful. These other romantic comedies, or romantic or comedies that had those elements in it, they show men that just want the woman and want to get the woman fast and get them to bed. The women, exactly the same thing. They just want a boyfriend. They want this and this and that and get to that point really fast. This one took a slow burn to get there, but also it showed true love and it showed it in a sort of a biblical way. And that's what we need. We need movies like this. We need other movies like in Angel Studios to be in theaters longer. Be in the theaters longer, but also have clean, wholesome films to go see. And it's not like I don't like the ones I watch, like Tron or Ninja Turtles or Star Wars or Superman with James Gunn, or even the original ones with Christopher Reeves and Batman and Superman, I mean, Batman and Flash and Die Hard and all those other movies that I can go down the Fugitive and all these other different movies I can go down a list. But it's good to have a good, clean, wholesome film like this. Now, Grown Ups 1 and 2 is kind of clean and wholesome comedy because they have some people in there, some of the comedians, like I said, like Kevin James. Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Rock. They know how to, and Rob Schneider, they know how to clean up their act, or they know how to read a role and the jokes are clean. They know how to do that. They know how to balance from from raunchy to clean at any time. And I think the reason why it worked so well without his friends like Adam Sandler, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Chris Rock this time, because he's a standalone person. He can do it on his own and he can have some other people helping him out. But his friend group does help him out. They do support him, but they don't always need to be in the same movie. Same thing with Adam Sandler can be in a drama and a comedy, and he does well on both. So does Kevin James. But it usually to me it was very weird to see Kevin James without that group of people bouncing off jokes off of him and bouncing off jokes off of them because that's what they did in some of the other movies like Pixel and Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2 and some other stuff that he's been with Adam Sandler. So um, it's just different, but it's good to see him in a movie like this and good to see him in a faith-based movie with a faith-based studio and this him being clean and wholesome. I highly recommend seeing this movie. Um, Solo Mio is a very cool and very fun and funny movie, and you will fall in love with it. Even if you're just a single person, if you're a single woman and single male, you'll fall in love with it. If you love Kevin James, if you're a woman and a man that loves Kevin James, you will love this movie regardless. There's elements in here that you will also fall in love with. And if you're also just, and then the question you get asked by my best friend slash sister, why do you think people are insurgents to seek out these movies? I think because it's everyone's trying to find their way around now back to religion, back to Christ, back to God, back to Jesus, back to a normal kind of thing where our country was based off of that God we trust. And I think people are trying to get back to it and they're trying to have insurgents to find themselves in a religion and Christianity or Judaism or wherever they want to go. They're trying to find this way back to God, especially if you're a Christian, if you're going to be a Christian, you're trying to find your way back. Because some people are Christians that lose their way, and some are not. And some of them are just trying to seek that out. And I think these movies are helping them. And they have a whole, a whole streaming service. So I think that's what people want to see this. And but the thing about this, like I said earlier in this review, these movies don't stay in the theaters that long. If you go see this movie, maybe Angel Studios and other studios that have Christian movies, like Sarah's Oil, still need to see that one. And that wasn't in theaters that long either, and it had Zachary Levi in it. You have people like Kevin James, Zachary Levi in these movies, and they only stay in theaters for like 2 or 3 weeks. How often do you think you're gonna see this? It might go straight on the app, you know what I mean? And if the resurgence of people trying to find good, wholesome stuff like this and get back to religion, we want we would want this movie to stay in theaters as long as Scream does, as long as Housemates does, or um, Avatar, if you get my point. But go see this movie, go see this film, keep it in theaters as long as you possibly can because Solo Mio is a very good, interesting film. And we both loved it. It's a little corny, a little cheesy, a little cringy at times, but that's just the comedy that's in here. And the romantic stuff was also kind of cringy and romantic, but that's just the stuff that's in this movie. And that's what makes this movie good and clean and wholesome. But if you like this video, put a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and deuces.